You went in basic training December 14th, 50.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks later, January of 51, he was out of basic. It was just a short time. He didn't get to finish it because they were cycling through a bunch of guys, and they did the physical training first. Then he had to go back like April. Now, when did you get out of basic? In April? Or that's when you went back in?
Huh?
On basic training, you went in December, came out January after a couple, 3 weeks, and then had to sit out for a while before you finished. When did you get out of basic?
I don't know.
Okay, well you said it was like April or something, you know.
Around April when I went back in.
So he was he was just driving a truck around until they finished. He got to finish basic.
Right. He was.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like keep him
Well,
busy?
he was done with basic. Right. He was just waiting on
No.
his assignment, right?
No, you got your basic training split up. It was split up, wasn't it? I mean, you had a couple weeks, and then you had to wait, and then go back in to finish to get your educational part.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A couple of months.
Yeah. See.
Well,
You had to wait. Yeah, it was kind of because of they were trying to cycle a bunch of guys through, so they're doing all the physical training,
right.
and then they come back and they pick up and
So he drove truck in between.
yeah. So because that's what he's gonna be doing.
I had got my permanent PCS from basic
Right.
after 14 days, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I drink 2.5, so.
I know, it so happened that the PCS was at San Antonio.
Right.
Exercise my brain. Like son David,
And
his friend.
along in April, this
is
said if you
they
didn't
had
have
her in a nursing home.
so many days of training, you had to go back and take it over again.
He's having a
So
hard
we
time,
stayed in our permanent party barracks.
you know, and,
We got up in the morning, like we go to the motor pool, we still go to the motor pool, we'd assemble out in
you know,
the area
and I said, well.
and go
he said,
to
well, Mother, I sure.
the classroom.
Yeah.
That training you
Yeah,
had, you know,
education.
We're gonna be leaving the county, head back to
and do a little marching and so on, you know.
So it's just almost like doing it twice.
Almost like basic, except
Yeah.
4 or 5 o'clock they turned you loose, you know.
Right.
You went back to your permanent party barracks and stayed there until the next morning.
He
You went
didn't.
back
He didn't do
to school.
the PT and everything so much, like you would basic.
This was all due to the fact
Back in Illinois.
that it was in December of 1950. It was right at the height of the Korean War.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were drafting pretty heavy.
Yeah. And bringing people running
A
through. And,
lot of people volunteered.
yeah.
And I happened to be in the group just before the Christmas, you see. A lot of them waited till after Christmas to enlist. And a lot of them waited after the 1st of January to enlist. So it was a hell of a flow of recruits
Yeah, they
coming
were
in.
flooding it, flooding the
Along the
facilities. And,
last of December and the 1st of January.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That was pretty
So they,
easy.
so they cut the ones that come in earlier, the recruiting training short,
Yeah. So
in
it-
order to get these
So screwed up.
kind of training, you see.
And about one particular family, you know, and I said, no, I know better than that, because they just live 2 blocks.
Because of course, over half the flight that I was with was re-enlistees from World War II.
Interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And
I got off the phone, I told you, I don't have to worry about
that draft, you know, when you got out of service, you're subject to recall into your old service or
Right.
be drafted again. So they enlisted and couldn't find no work, one thing, and enlisted back into the Air Force.
Right.
Right. We were flooded.
We had Marines, Army, Navy.
Better to pick your own destiny than
Yeah.
Right, right. Well, that's the reason I volunteered when I went in. I
Right.
wanted to pick my own destiny.
right.
It's when I first went into service. And my first 14 days up, they took me out and gave me a driver's test, which consisted of changing gears twice, and pulled it over, and that was my test. Well, the next day, the rest of that day, or a while, I don't know, might have been in a couple of days, and got all over the motor pool and familiarizing everybody with it, with everything. what to do on the trucks, and how to service them and all that. And the third day, I believe it was the third day, they sent me to the personnel where the new troops was coming in. Give me the building number and everything. Well, I'd been there long enough to learn how the building numbers are raised, you know. And then I went to that, and I got there, and I told him I was reported for duty. He said, yeah, what kind of run you got? And he said, I got some troops at one of the train stations downtown. You had some troops to pick up. He said, you know where it's at? I had never been in San Antonio before in my life. And the cat deal might not have been on this trip, but he said, you don't know where it's at? I said, no. He said, well, that boy right there knows where it's going, where it's at. Follow him. Well, he tried to lose me going in there, driving an old 6x6 truck. I got in there and I got loaded up and had one or two left over from my load. And he said, I'm going to go over to this other depot in a bus station or something, I don't know, and pick up the rest of them. He said, take them back to the base. I'd never been there before. I didn't know. I found my way back. Nope, didn't have no problem. But I started making several trips that nearly every day I'd go in there and pick people up. Well, I went in there one time and I didn't have many people with me at that time. And started back out, whatever highway that is, going east and west there, 54 I think. And I was driving along there and traffic was heavy and there's some cars ahead of me. And I seen this dog chasing this cat alongside the sidewalk. I mean, just right along even with me, you know. And that cat got down there and he made a turn to cross in the traffic. There's a little break between me and the car ahead of me. Not much, but a little bit. And that cat missed his judgment and he run in and just latched onto the wheel. And when he latched onto the wheel, he just rotated with it, you see.
It's like a cartoon.
That old dog running around over there, you can tell the way his ears popped up and everything, he just laughing his butt off.
That stuff's like a cartoon.
Does it though?
It was.